So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our planetary conjunction through houses series, and today we're going to be covering a very commonly known conjunction of Sun and Mercury. So, what happens when Sun and Mercury are conjunct in your first house of your horoscope? And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular conjunction, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the astrological details, for that check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, at the shop section link. So let's get started with this Sun Mercury in the first house video. So with Sun Mercury in the first house, many have known this particular conjunction in the entire horoscope as Budhaditya Yoga. Buddha meaning Mercury, Aditya is another name for the sun. And usually this yoga is known for intelligence, education, somebody who is very gifted in terms of dealing with leadership, dealing with calculations. It is also said that one becomes a great physicist with this. But here's the thing. Budhaditya Yoga only forms in certain conditions. Number one being this video. When Sun and Mercury are in the ascendant, that's a Budhaditya Yoga. Second is when they're in the 5th house. Then when they're in the 11th house. The other is when they're connected with the ascendant Lord, then it becomes a Budhaditya Yoga. But if you have a Sun Mercury conjunction in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 8th house, is not a Budhaditya Yoga. Remember that. It is only when these two planets are conjunct in a certain house, then we see. So obviously this is right now is a true Budhaditya Yoga. Why? Because it is on the head. First house is the head. You've got Sun here and Mercury here. And the relationship with Sun and Mercury is that Mercury becomes brightened when it's with the Sun. Because it's naturally so close to the Sun, it will never leave the Sun more than 48 degrees. So what happens is Mercury being the son of Jupiter and Mercury having those kind of like, he's not a biological son of Jupiter, but he has kind of like adapted those qualities of Jupiter by living with Jupiter, learning everything, learning the higher knowledge. But the thing is, Mercury is like Moon, because Moon is the real father of Mercury. Mercury wants to take that knowledge and deal with the material plane. Jupiter wants to deal with the astral plane. So in this particular manner, what happens is Mercury represents the regular education for us. Mercury represents like management, logic, analytical, intelligence, reading different subjects in like mathematics, physics, accounting, journalism, languages. That's Mercury. Where Jupiter is definitely a significator of management and Artha Shastra. But Jupiter is more about the higher divine knowledge, meaning that Jupiter wants to deal with things in a whole. Mercury wants to deal with one little department. Mercury wants to be that supervisor of that particular department and wants to develop that department. Where Jupiter is looking at the fact, looking at the whole planet as a whole, that if I have this business and I'm managing this, how is this going to affect the ecosystem? How is it going to affect the environment? How is it going to affect these people in this country? And then Jupiter says, okay, this is how I want to make this decision. So now it's in the head, and Sun is a very hot planet. So what happens with this particular Budhaditya Yoga is when a person starts studying and when they start, really getting into education, like the heart of education, which is like high school studies, university studies, complicated subjects, they tend to lose hair. They have thinning hair. They have natural curly hair, but also they thin out. Sometimes it can become bald, especially if these two planets are in a fiery sign. So if, let's say if it's an Aries ascendant, they're sitting in the ascendant, the person will go bald quite quickly. The other thing that we also see, that a person wants to attain education, usually their brain is set for education like actuary, human resources, accounts, politics, political science. These are the subjects that really get them, through these subjects, they understand the world. Why? Because their hormones, due to the fact they were in the ascendant, when this person was born, the hormones inside the body naturally relate to the exterior subjects that kind of nourishes those hormones. That's all it is. That's all astrology is. It's dealing with certain things balances your hormones. So you hate mathematics. But as soon as you go towards anthropology, you go towards, history, you become the most excellent person. Why is that? Because of the fact your hormones inside the body, whatever the mechanism is, feels awakened. It tells your brain that, oh, this is what suits me. So whatever suits us, whatever gives us, helps us get rid of stress, we usually go towards those things. Whether it's a certain person, certain friend, certain activity, perhaps even certain god. One god may over stress you with their exuberance and their overly callous persona. But certain gods you'll be like, oh my god, this is it. So this is where the planet shows us. Planet simply shows the hormonal genome inside us, and when we go towards those activities, we become more calm. The other thing we also see with this particular Sun-Mercury conjunction is that a person may get either kind of hiccups in speech, for example, a bit of a speech impediment disorder, or they will talk very fast to a point you're like, okay, what are you saying? You're talking too fast. And especially with this particular conjunction, communication, writing is natural to this individual. Sales is very natural to this individual. And I'm only talking about because these two planets are conjunct. I don't know if you have a 3 planetary conjunction, for some planet is aspecting this conjunction, that will completely change the dynamics. Like for example, if Sun, Mercury are in the ascendant, Saturn from the 4th house aspects this conjunction, this person may be interested in physics more than accounting or actuary. They may want to try to get civil engineering done. Mars is there. They want to go for logic. They want to go for computer engineering. So everything will change. But here what we see is that specifically these two conjunction, what they represent. So even though a person is pursuing computer engineering, they will have those interests towards the subject that is related to just Sun and Mercury. But those subject is something that just suits them, but they know I have to pursue this other thing. They don't know why, but they're pursuing it because of the fact their hormones are now attracted to this, because of that multi-dimensional aspects and conjunction and nakshatras that come into play in astrology, without which, we can only go so far. The other thing we also see with this conjunction is that a person acts in a very eccentric manner in a marriage. When they get married, it's not like a normal marriage-like situation. They become very eccentric in how they deal with partnership and marriage. And obviously when Sun is in the head, one feels like the Sun. One feels like they have to be in such a position that everybody else is beneath them. Because the intelligence, that analytical intelligence of Mercury is now with Sun. So because of the fact they attain that education, they feel like they have to rule over everyone. I have this education. I am supposed to be the one in charge. I'm supposed to be the one who is respected. How is it that now you're demanding respect from me? That doesn't work that way, because the hormones inside are then shaking. They're vibrating there's something wrong here. Now, how do you balance these hormones which are developed through these planetary placements? Well, of course, yoga and meditation. So this vibration that happens when things don't go your way, they will suddenly calm down, slow down, and at one point they will stand still. So whether you have to serve someone or whether you have to be a leader in a community, it's that same grade of reaction. Same grade of reaction. So, I mean, we can, keep going with this, because once you know the sign and the nakshatra, you can see a whole lot more things. But anyway, this was my analysis of Sun Mercury conjunction in the ascendant. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, click here for the reports, consultations. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.